Okay, next thing, I've just got a torque bit, and I don't know what size this is, I have to look it up. But I'm just going to undo this brake cover now, using this torque drive socket, and then just undo these bolts. So there's two of them located here and here. What I'm hoping to find is, I'm hoping it's just a small broken spring. I've done these before and it's a very straightforward fix as to why that brake handle is so floppy. So let's have a look at that. Let's see what we find. So taking the bolts out here and here. If I pull this off now, here we go, here we go. Okay, there we go, it's out, right, loads of rubbish in there. So first things first, get that cleaned out and see if we can find anything broken. The mainspring looks fine though, and obviously we know that the brake band's okay because that was working fine earlier, but in here I'll see if there's anything else going on. I'm just going to take it outside and clean it. Okay, yep, found something wrong. This little spring here is broken. It's snapped right inside here. I don't know if I can get the light on that. So that will need replacing as soon as possible, because if that comes out and comes apart into the other spring mechanisms, it could cause more havoc as I'm operating the saw. So yeah, I need to get a new one of them. I'll probably take one out of a disused saw for now and just replace that. It will mean disconnecting this brake band spring. I might get away without having to remove that, but I will see how it goes. I might see if I can do that now. Okay, so I've fitted the new little brake spring in here. It's not this one, it's the one at the back there. Can you see that in there? Yeah, that one there, at the back. There it is there. The one with the little eyelet there to it. I had to take this off, take the mainspring off, and then I took this off, this assembly off, and just disconnected it at this end just for convenience. Put in the new spring, and then put it back in reverse order. This spring can be a pain, but once you know the technique, the knack, it's quite easy. I use a flathead screwdriver. I connect it here, this end, use a flathead screwdriver and prise it up and over that pin and slide it down the screwdriver onto that pin there. So that's how I do that, because yeah, I used to, before I knew that, it was a pain. So yeah, I'm going to put the side cover back on now, on here, which goes on like so, and just screw that back on, and then we're ready to put the saw back together, and I'll show you how to put a new chain on. Right, time to put the bar and chain back on. Okay, so just to recap, I took off the air filter cover, blew the air filter out, cleaned all around here. I've cleaned the bar grooves out, both sides, cleaned all the bar up. I have cleaned the side cover up and fitted a new spring in here. We investigated what was going on with that, and we found a broken spring and fitted that. And we undone the spark plug, cleaned the spark plug up. We put some cord down some pull cord down the spark plug hole to block the piston, and undone the clutch by jamming the piston with the pull cord, and undone the clutch. And then I lubricated the needle roller bearing inside the clutch drum, and so that's all lubricated up now. Put that back together, and now time to put the new chain on, which was much needed. So I look for the most worn area on towards the end of the nose, because it always wears where people use the tip of the bar, and I must admit I do it as well. You often get wear here, here and here. So I'm just looking to see which part of it is the most worn, and then I use, because you can reverse these, you can have it upside down or the right way up. So I think I'm going to have it upside down. I think there's a bit more wear here. So because that's a high wearing point there, just before the nose, underneath. So I always put, so when I go and change the bar, I always like to flip it. So it's yeah, so the wear gets evened out on both parts at that point of the nose. I'm going for an Oregon chain, eBay special, but it will it'll be more than up to the job. I always buy Oregon, or I buy the manufacturer's own chains, whether it's Sthil, Husqvarna. I always make sure I only trust those chains. I've tried buying cheaper chains in the past, and they fail. They just do. Yeah, I've fallen into that trap before, and I used you know, you often get like 2 packs for the price of 1 chain, 2 chains for the price of 1 chain if you go for the cheap stuff. But believe me, it's not worth it. They just break on you. Same with bars as well. I bought a cheap bar once, and the thing just fell apart after, yeah, just a couple of days use. So it's just not worth it in my book. The last thing you want is a chain or a bar falling apart whilst you're up a tree, or out in the middle of nowhere copsing somewhere in the woods. Anyway, make sure you put the chain on the right way around. It's quite self-explanatory. The top part of the chain will always move forward, and it will go in a clockwise direction. So make sure the points of the cutter are facing forwards. I did that once before. I put the chain on backwards. I noticed it straight away and thought, what an idiot. Shouldn't have done that. But there we go. And there we go. I'm undoing the tensioner, the chain tensioner, to make sure I'm locating the tensioner locating dowel onto the bar. And that slipped on quite nicely now. So that is ready to do up. Make sure it just turns freely, which it does. Side cover on. Again, remember what I said earlier, locating dowel for the brake handle to slide into its location first. Then this pin here also locates into a hole here. So you just got to make sure you get those lined up. And in we go. I'll give it a little wriggle. That's all gone in nicely. I do the nut up finger tight. And then I use the flathead screwdriver to get the tension right. So something you need to know about this, when it's a new chain, which this is, it's a brand new chain, I always run it up and then retighten it because of the chain stretch. As soon as you run it up and run it for a minute or so and rev it right up for a little bit, the chain stretches straight away, and then you have to readjust the tension. So that's what I'm going to do in a minute. But I'm just grabbing the top part of the chain, making sure it's just grabbing the saw, which it is. So I'm satisfied with that being the correct tension. That's my way of knowing that the tension is correct. I'm going to grab the nose of the chain, lift the saw up slightly and tighten up my 13mm socket and ratchet. Just nip it up, not murdering it, but so it's tight enough and it's not going to come undone. Yep, all done. Happy with that. I'm now going to run it up, test that it's oiling okay by putting the nose close to a bit of wood and running the saw at full revs and making sure it all sprays coming out okay. And then I'll come back in and retension. Okay, so that's it from me on this video. How to maintain the Sthil MS201 TC. Really good saw, very popular, been going since the early 80s I think. So but it's worth maintaining them, as you know, you've got to climb the tree with it. It's something that will, you know, it gets dragged through branches. It's something that gets hit a lot because it's usually dangling by a bungee when you're climbing. So they take a lot of abuse. these things, so always worth keeping on top of the maintenance with them. If you want to check out another video for sharpening a chainsaw, a back-handled chainsaw, I get more in depth with sharpening on another video, so look out for that.